Hi, friends. Welcome to today's episode of We Are Marketing Happy, a healthcare marketing podcast. I'm Jenny Bristow, and I'm your host. And I'm also the CEO and founder at Hedy and Hopp, a full service, fully healthcare marketing agency. I'm here today excited to chat with you about AI and personas. I have two of my fabulous team members with me. I have Sarah Zajicek, she's a copywriter and content editor, and Jenny Rojas, who is an SEO marketing specialist. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we created a podcast episode a few weeks ago, I guess a couple of months ago at this point, talking about SEO and how AI is really changing the game. And then I posted a LinkedIn post a few weeks ago talking about the huge strides our team is making in having our content rank well in AI. So whether that's an AI overview or showing up as an answer for LLMs, and I've received a lot of questions about the behind the scenes of how does that work? How are you using AI to create content on the front end while you're still able to somehow make high quality content that people enjoy reading? What are you doing structurally to have it show up well on a website? So we wanted to do a follow-up episode. So on today's episode, we're going to be digging in more into the power of AI and really supporting the creation of content and how things like personas and structure come into play. So I'm going to start with Sarah. Sarah, really excited to chat with you a little bit about the big shift in AI and what is happening and how people are using AI to find content. So talk to us a little bit about that. How are people using AI to find information, and how should that shift the way that marketers show up on behalf of brands?
Yeah, so there's actually a study published pretty recently by the creators of ChatGPT that found that up to 49% of searches or messages that are being sent into ChatGPT are actually asking questions. So a lot of people are using it more as a research-based tool than an action tool, and they're looking for answers to their questions. So the way that we have found we can better structure our content is by answering the questions that people are asking ChatGPT so we can better show up for those users and gain more brand awareness among them.
Absolutely. And that really is different though, right? At Hedy and Hop, we have what we call the system side, which is larger statewide or multi-state systems. And then we have the practice side, which is smaller practices. Let's say they have 5 or 10 locations. So they definitely have different go-to-market approaches. So Sarah, talk to us a little bit about what that actually means in practice, right? So you have both large systems, you have service lines within those systems, and then you also have individual practice offices. So let's say a 5 location orthopedic practice. If I were a marketing strategist and I were trying to think about how people were going to be finding me, what does the study say? How are people using AI to do that research?
So, on a smaller practice perspective, patients are generally turning to AI to search for questions more about the conditions or procedures that they're interested in. And having those service-based pages inside of a small practice's website can really help the user find the information that they're looking for while also getting the education that they're looking for. And from a hospital system perspective, patients are using AI search to find those specialties within their local area. So having those specialty pages and having them structured well will help them find that information.
Absolutely. And we talked on a prior episode, not only about the importance of AI through the lens of how people are searching, but also the importance of reputation and the influence of AI. So if that idea is new to you, go back and listen to that episode. We talked a lot about how ratings and rankings can really influence the way that you show up in AI. So really important to kind of think about not just content on the site, but also how people are talking about you off the site. So let's talk a little bit about big picture best practices for content and SEO strategy in the AI area. One of the things that we do a lot for SEO and GEO clients is focus on their blogs, but also their main service line pages. And that feels kind of obvious, right? Like, of course, you're going to put content there, but talk to us a little bit about the specifics. How are we optimizing those pages?
So we optimize service pages and blogs fairly similarly. Our service pages are the main pages on our website that act sort of as pillars for the rest of our blog content to connect to. And the way we structure these is with bulleted summaries at the beginning of the page. This creates a quick and snappy way for users to find what information they're going to be seeing on this page, but also a great way for AI to sort of quick cite what is found on your website. Also, answering commonly asked questions in the form of FAQs or Q&A style copy helps users find the answers that they're looking for. Again, using bulleted lists to break up copy and large blocks of text, anything that gets the user to easily scan what they're going to be read is more likely to be cited in AI search. And implementing those FAQs. So snappy content, answering questions quickly, and an implementation of an FAQ schema, which is just a structured snippet of code, helps not only the users, but the AI search itself crawl the website and gather that information.
So basically, what you're saying is AI does not have a big attention span either. So we
No,
have to write bulleted lists for users to scan, and we got to write bulleted lists for AI to scan because everybody's just looking for the headlines.
exactly. The easier it is to read for the user, the easier it is to read for AI, and everybody is happy in the end.
Absolutely. I think what's kind of interesting with a lot of things in marketing is a lot of this stuff feels common sense, right? But actually taking that and implementing it whenever you have a massive digital ecosystem is where processes and structure and well-defined schema really comes into play, right? Like nothing that we're saying, I think people would listen to and say, oh, that's a light bulb idea. But the thing that's light bulb was actually taking that and developing a process to scale it across a massive digital ecosystem. So that way, then you're really making solid steps forward for the users and for AI platforms to be able to digest the information. So if
Absolutely.
somebody were trying to implement this internally and they were trying to create, let's say, going into next year, a program to implement this within their own organization, what are some practical applications they should be thinking about?
The best thing that they can do really is just think about how to quickly and concisely answer the questions that people are using. Think in terms of how you would be searching for things online. A great resource is the FAQs section or more questions section in Google. It provides a list of questions that people are commonly asking and searching for within a specific query, taking those and running with them. And again, as many bulleted lists, Q&A style copy format that you can fit into a page.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How about the integration of AI writing tools into a process? So, how should marketers think about that? When is it in your patient's best interest to use those tools versus when is it kind of becoming lazy and creating content that they don't want to read?
That's a great question. I know AI writing tools can be a little controversial in the marketing space just because if you don't use them correctly, your copy can sound very robotic. And obviously, if it doesn't sound right, users aren't going to find interest in it, and AI is not going to rank it very well either, the AI search engines. So you want to be able to use your AI writing tool to your advantage, but you want to use your best judgment as a human to sort of intervene when necessary, break up those blocks of text, and really play around with the instructions that you're giving your AI writing tool to be able to get the best output for yourself. So emphasizing, the bulleted lists, emphasizing the
Well, in addition to bulleted lists, you can also do summaries or headlines. Another thing that is really valuable that our team has done is, for example, if you do have an article that's been written, you can use AI to be able to summarize it. Okay, Sarah, so let's talk a little bit about when AI can play a role in the creation of content for SEO and GEO versus when it should be a human actually involved in the process. What's your perspective?
AI writing tools are great for additional support, although they're not perfect. They're not always medically accurate if you're writing medical content, and they tend to sound a little robotic if used repeatedly. So, having the human intervention there to help in creating more of a natural voice throughout the copy, breaking up large blocks of text again with those bulleted lists or even summaries really comes into play with using AI tools to the best of your ability.
Absolutely. Think of it as a support member on your team, not the star person.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, let's shift over talking a little bit about personas in AI search. Jenny, give us your thought about kind of where we are, how it plays in, and what the future is going to hold.
Sure, thank you, Jenny. So first, AI is searching the game, right? So AI doesn't care just about the keywords. It tries to understand who is behind the question. Your role, context, and even all the constraints can influence that answer. So for example, I have two prompts. Typing in best skincare routine, or someone might say to ChatGPT, I am a 35-year-old male with sensitive skin and recurrent acne. What is the best skincare routine recommended by dermatologists? You see the difference in the two prompts? One has context and information. So AI tailors the answer to those specific prompts and personas. That's why it's so important for businesses to start thinking persona first when creating content. AI and large language models change how search works. Prompts don't just carry what someone wants, but who they are also. Content must respond not only to queries, but to the identity and constraints behind them. In AI search, a persona is a defined identity or a set of characteristics that guides how the AI responds to process information. So it goes beyond what is being asked
Yeah.
and consider who is asking and under what circumstances. In all search, success mostly came from doing keyword research, finding the right keywords, making sure your content align and match the search intent behind them. And as long as you pick the right keywords and align your content with that intent, you could rank well, right? So now in the AI search, prompts expose not just what, but the who is asking. Again, role, context, and constraints. So with AI search, a user's query isn't just about what they want, it also reveals who they are and the situation they're in. Also, environmental factors like where they live, living in different states, have an effect in the responses. For example, if a user prompts ChatGPT something like, I am a 50-year-old living in Miami, Florida. I need a yearly physical, but I don't have health insurance. Can you show me a list of nearby primary care doctors who offer free physicals and also provide me with a checklist of what to bring to my appointment? That was a lot of context, a lot of information. And so with this prompt, ChatGPT has enough background information. They know about the user's needs. They know their personal situation, their financial constraints, where they live, and how they like that information to be presented to them. So AI systems personalize the summaries and citations around that context. Different personas don't just want different information, they also want to deliver in different formats. So AI tools recommend your content into different formats that are most useful for the searcher. For example, a person, an executive persona, right? This person prefers a summary with a bullet list because they wanted to scan the content quickly. As on the other hand, a researcher persona might want a deep dive narrative with sources and charts and explanations. So by anticipating the format preferences of different personas, we make it easier for AI to recommend the content in a way that is very useful and valuable for the user. And so what this means for content strategy, we want to start testing ways to incorporate personas into the content. We want to revisit our core pages, our core content, and integrate targeted examples, localized details. We want persona-specific insights to make the content more relevant and engaging, right? And not every content or not every topic needs a personalized version. Instead, we want to find places where we can speak to the audience naturally and more directly, whether through localized callouts, customer-focused CTAs, or targeted subsections within that existing content. Also, now that we have talked about tailoring the content to different personas and formats, the next step is making sure we have a strong base persona to work from. And this starts with core demographics. These are things that we already have when we write the content. Things like the age, the gender, the race, locations, education, income. So all of these basics core demographics are the foundation for layering our context and preferences and constraints when writing the content. And it is tools like Google Search Console that come in very handy because it gives you a real world insight into who is finding your content, what they're typing in, what are they searching for. So by analyzing these types of questions and queries from your visitors, you can infer what problems or goals they have, and this helps you in building the persona for writing your content.
That's super helpful. I think a lot of folks are thinking about personas when they're doing social media content, but that hasn't necessarily translated over to SEO and on-site content as much. So hopefully for our listeners, this is really good food for thought and really helps you think about how persona-based marketing really extends into all of these other tactics and ways that you're creating content for your patients online. So Jenny and Sarah, thank you so much for all of the information you're sharing today. This whole world is shifting so quickly. So we're going to continue creating episodes on SEO and the impact AI is having on it every couple of months to be able to continue to give people some food for thought and context as they're refining their strategies. So thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully, both Sarah and Jenny gave you some additional ways that you can think about content strategy, content creation, and the way that AI and AI overviews are digesting and using your information on behalf of your patients. So the way that you will continue to create content will shift over time, and you'll continue to do better and better to show up in those places that your patients are looking for you. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to reach out. We would love to chat more. Otherwise, please share this episode with a colleague who may find the information helpful. Subscribe to this podcast. We drop new episodes almost every Friday. And like us on social media so you can continue to get updates on the new information that we're sharing. And that's it for today's episode of We Are Marketing Happy. We will see you on next week's episode. Have a great day. Cheers.